Welcome to a new edition of Soltex. It's great to have you with us. I want to tell you a story. There was a very rich person in England who needed to hire a chauffeur to drive his expensive car. So he put an ad in the paper, and after looking at all the applicants, he narrowed it down to 4 people. And so when he got the 4 people in the room, he asked them all the same question. He said, "Do you see that wall over there? I want you to tell me how close you can drive my car to this wall without hitting it." So the first person actually answered the question, "Well, I can drive your car within 1 foot of the wall." And then the second person answered the question, "I can drive your car within 6 inches of the wall." The third person answered, "I actually can drive your car within 3 inches of the wall." And then he looked at the fourth person and said, "How do you answer?" And the fourth person answered the question by saying, "I can drive your car as far away from the wall as I can without hitting it." And it was this person actually that got the job. In the few moments that we have together, we're going to speak about purity. Purity is how far you can be away from those things that drag you down. And so, what is the safest and largest margin that you can be away from those things that are impure? And so we want to read a little bit from the Gospel, of course, and the Bible. And St. Paul is telling us, all things are lawful for me, but all things are not helpful. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. Foods for the stomach and stomach for the foods, but God will destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. And God both raised up the Lord and will also raise us up by his power. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them members of a harlot? Certainly not. Or do you not know that he who is joined to a harlot is one body with her? For the two, he says, shall become one flesh. But he who is joined to the Lord is one spirit with him. And then St. Paul says something that is so important for all of us to understand. He says, flee sexual immorality. Every sin that a man does is outside the body. But he who commits sexual immorality sins against his own body. Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own? For you were bought at a price, therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. I want to show you something. If you can take a look at this glass of water, and this actually indicates somebody who is pure. So this glass of water is an indication of somebody who is very pure, clean, holy, living a righteous life. And we all sin. But this is an indication of not only sin, but somebody who keeps themselves impure. Do the change of the color of the water. And the change of the color of the water is the stain of sexual immorality that penetrates our lives in a very deep way. And so what we need to do is stay away from sexual immorality. Stay away from those things that draw you away from the pure and righteous life. Stay away from those things like the lines on a highway. There has to be guidelines in our lives. If you take away actually the lines on the highway, then everybody's going to be driving all over the map and all over the place. So the guidelines are put there to keep us on the pure and holy track and the righteous way of life. So when St. Paul says we need to flee sexual immorality, we need to run away from it. We need to stay away from it. And in turn, we need to draw close to God. And He is the one that's going to keep us pure. Thank you so much.